Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 4 of the LCR World Rallycross Championship, where today we're here in Canada at Troy Rivieros. I can't remember exactly how you're meant to pronounce this track, but today we have exciting news. Finally we are out of the Super Poo and we are now into a car that hopefully stands a better chance of fighting towards the front of this series. We are now, yes, in the Peugeot. I'm going to talk over what would be my fastest of the heats here. But yeah, really happy, finally we've been able to get out of the Subaru here. It's just not strong enough at the end of the day. I think it's genuinely down to the fact that it's got a longer wheelbase, so it just struggles to put the power down as, well as all the other cars, and obviously things like the Fiesta, the Peugeot, the Renault even as well. They're, cars that are way better around all of the tracks at the end of the day. I mean, Abu Dhabi, the Subaru could fight there or thereabouts, then we got screwed anyway. But yeah, hopefully now in this car we can start to prove that we do actually have some quite good pace in this series nonetheless there, because, rallycross cars, although don't get me wrong, I'm hardly the best person in them. I think, my pace is actually fairly strong in these cars. Obviously, unfortunately, this week out at Canada, I literally just got home just before the race, so hopefully next weekend out we can try and prove ourselves a little bit more here with a bit of practice on the board. Literally before our first heat, I'd done about 3 laps around this track here, and it is quite an interesting one at the end of the day. Quite high speed as well, which was, fairly decent. I think it worked out quite nicely for ourselves. But yeah, it's really a track that, you've really just got to try and work out, hit your points, making sure you're clipping your apexes as best as possible, getting the front end rotated through as best, and obviously not doing what I just did, and that's just hitting the walls as well, otherwise you'll lose yourself a lot of time at the end of the day here. But yeah, 4-lap heat first of all, though. Both Typhon and Rydog, my teammate, who has also moved obviously up into Peugeot with me. Yeah, hopefully, with those two both now taking their Joker laps, we can just try and keep it nice and tidy as best as possible, and see, focusing on just sort of learning what the car's capable of doing around here. Everything like that as we head down in through the first few corners here. So yeah, very weird circuit. It goes from very wide open to very tight, and then it just sort of switches between the two extremes. You don't really get many places around this circuit that sort of feel fairly open. It's rather odd at the end of the day here. But yeah, anyway, coming towards the end though of lap 3, it's been a fairly good run so far. A couple of small mistakes, definitely. That was a fairly just awful run through the final couple of corners there. But yeah, so far the pace felt alright though in the Peugeot. That lap would be a 42.601. But yeah, we're going on to the final lap now of this first race of the night. And yeah, hopefully, obviously, once we take the Joker lap, we still should be in the lead of the race. That's where the game is predicting us to be at the moment. They're getting the car nicely swung through the first couple of corners here. And yeah, down in towards the Joker lap, trying to get a nice tidy run, struggling. Actually got a bit too optimistic on the entry there, but we do hold on the exit there still with the race leader. Actually get quite a nice little run despite taking the Joker lap through the next couple of corners there. But yeah, down in towards the final couple of corners, so we've still got a 1.6 second margin over Typhon here, but obviously beating people doesn't matter. It's all about the time in the semi-finals here. And down towards the start-finish line, it's going to be a 3 minutes 1 in the end now, 3 minute 1:09.32, so really quite happy with that one as well in the end, and that would actually once again be good enough to get us through into the grand finals here. Unfortunately, this week out, Bram actually wasn't able to make it here, so we just might have a chance to move ourselves up into P3 in the title fight here. Obviously, Mel and Joe quite a long way up the road. I'm hoping now in the Peugeot we can fight with them throughout the second half of the season, but obviously we'll have to wait and see as to how that all does pan out at the end of the day there. But yeah, quite happy though. Obviously, we made it through into the grand finals once again, despite our limited practice here. I think we were actually the 3rd quickest car through as well. There it will be Typhon, obviously Joe and Mel and myself in the finals there. But yeah, we would be quicker than Typhon though, so we go into this one as the 3rd fastest driver there. Not quite the highs of Abu Dhabi last week out, where we went into it as the 2nd fastest, but obviously Mel was incredibly quick, like he is pretty much everywhere in this series. But yeah, hopefully we can just try and have a nice, clean race out here today. A nice, good finale. Try and see what the pace is like in the 208 here. Obviously, we've got Mel in the Ford, Typhon in the Audi, and Joe in the Renault here. So once again, 4 different cars making it through into the grand finals here. But yeah, a 6-lap race ahead of us. Let's see what we can do. Getting ready then on the grid. We're starting technically third. It's a bit of a weird grid here. Unfortunately, you really do want to actually be on the right-hand side to obviously get a better run in towards the first proper corner of the lap. But hopefully we can just try and get a nice, clean getaway here and just see where we end up. The lights are getting ready then to come on now, and we are ready to race here in Canada for the finals of round 4 of the championship. And it's lights out and away we go. They're responding fairly poorly actually to the lights, I think, as we head down in towards turn 1 there. A little bit of contact actually between a couple of us as we break now down in towards the first corner. They're going very, very deep through turn 1 there, and we actually drop right down to the rear of the field there. A bit of contact actually though between everyone as we all sort of bunch up in through turn 2 there. You can see Typhon just in front of us as we head off the exit of the corner there. We're actually going to dive it in straight away for our Joker lap here. Get a much, much tidier run than in our heats there through the Joker, but this time around not quite able to get the run on the exit of the corner there. But yeah, that was exactly what we needed to do, and now hopefully Mel and Joe can really, really fight each other, but unfortunately we've got to battle our way through the dust there, which can really, really cost you a lot of time there. Typhon make a bit of a mistake in towards the penultimate corner there, but we get a nice tidy run on the exit here. And yeah, at the moment though, it looks like Mel and Joe have been able to cause quite a breakaway from myself, but they are still battling at the moment here. And based on the Joker Delta, it was looking very, very close between all three of us here. And like I said, we need Mel and Joe to fight as much as possible here if we want to stand a chance of getting up into the lead of the racer. I think one of them is going to dive it in for their Joker lap here. It is going to be Joe, and he's just about going to come out alongside us. They completely almost run us into the wall if we didn't bail out of that one there. Clearly no sort of observation of the cars around him, but he does move up, holding on to P2 of the racer. And yeah, now Mel up into the lead. We're now up into P3 because Typhon as well has taken his Joker, but unfortunately for myself, Mel now starting to make a bit of a breakaway there. Joe as well, a good second up the road at the moment here, so it's going to be interesting to see. It looks at the moment like Joe would actually come out in the lead of this race. It's going to be very, very close between the pair of them, and obviously I'm just trying to hang on in there at the moment and see where we could end up if, you know, these two come together there. Mel now dives in for his Joker lap here. We're just going to try and get a nice tidy run on the exit there. Mel looks like he's held on to the race lead there, but there's going to be all chopping and changing between the pair of them there, and actually a bit of desync between them there. And now Joe moves himself up into the lead of the race there. Could we finally see Mel's streak broken in the LCR WRX series, just like we saw my streak broken yesterday in the Formula E Championship there? Mel gets very, very loose on the exit of the corner there, and as we now head on to lap 4 of the race, you can see, yeah, Joe built up a good 1 second margin there over Mel. Typhon struggling just behind us there. We make a bit of contact actually with the wall, but this was going to be really, really important there. We just clipped the wall again and just trying to get, you know, it's always about trying to find the limit in these cars and really just trying to get absolutely everything out of them as best as possible here as we head now down in through lap 4. You can see Mel making even more contact with the wall here, but we were doing all right at the moment. You know, we proved that we just about had the pace to sort of hang on in there here. Joe very, very quick around this circuit, obviously in the OP in the OP Renault even, I should say, as well there, and he was starting to build up a bit of a margin here. But yeah, at the moment I was pretty happy with how we were going. We did have Typhon not too far behind us though, so hopefully we can hold on ahead of him and try to pick up P3, you know, what would be our first podium of the championship here as we head now down in towards the penultimate lap of the race here. Mel and Joe still looking like there's a bit of a gap between the pair of them here, and we're just trying to hang on in there as best as possible. Obviously, if Mel tries to go for a lunge, something like that, then maybe, just maybe, we can try and get a little bit more out of this race there. But Mel, he makes contact with the wall there. That's going to be a big, big mistake for him. Fortunately, no punctures or anything like that there as we get very, very close to the inside wall in towards the final couple of corners there. And yeah, now 1 lap to go of this race there. And really, after the Joker lap, we haven't actually lost too much time to Joe here. And like I said, you know, with very little practice, basically the heats were our practice here to be pretty much up to pace with these guys. I was very, very happy with a little bit of contact with the outside wall there. But yeah, at the moment the gap was holding pretty even between all three of us here. Mel was really trying to apply the pressure though as we head through this final lap. But as we head now down in towards the final couple of corners of this race there, we make a bit of contact with the wall there. Luckily that mistake wouldn't cost us too much in the long run there. I think Typhon had already ran into his own issues here. But through the final couple of corners we go. Joe is going to take home his first rallycross victory of the championship there. Mel's streak is broken at the top, and we come through for our first podium of the series as well. They're really, really happy with that one at the end of the day there. And yeah, only 3 seconds off in the end from Joe. I was quite happy with how well we maintained that gap in the second half of the race there. And hopefully that means now, as we head in towards the second half of the championship, we can really, really try and fight Mel and Joe and, you know, try and solidify. You know, I'd love to try and get P3 overall in the championship as well. Obviously, if we can try and keep outscoring, you know, if we can try and start outscoring Bram now. Obviously, now he's missed this one race as well there. But yeah, that'll do us then for week 4, even I should say, of the LCR World Rallycross Championship. Hopefully, like I said, now we can fight at the top. But yeah, that'll do us for this one then. And hopefully, I will see you guys next time.